Hi, I'm Brian Halvorsen and I'm a dentist. I've been in practice for over 35 years and I've written a book about my principles on holistic dentistry. The book is called Great Teeth for Life. This video is how to prevent a dry socket. A dry socket occurs after a tooth has been removed, extracted by the dentist. If a teeth comes loose on its own, normally the gum heals immediately over. But if it's actually removed, especially if it's a difficult extraction, then what happens immediately after the extraction is that the dentist would either stitch over the hole or he would actually put like a protective plug over it, which you'd normally wear in your mouth, biting on it for about, say, an hour afterwards. And a lot of the times the instructions given after an extraction is that you do not rinse it out, drink on it, eat until at least the next day. If unfortunately the sockets is disturbed, the clot that forms, which is a little bit like a scab on a cut, actually breaks down. If it does break down, then the hole becomes apparent from the point of view that there is no tissue covering the hole, which is normally blood that's gone hard. And so we go into what we call a healing process, where the socket, instead of healing from across it, actually heals from the base. Unfortunately, because the mouth is full of bacteria, which are there naturally, what we find is as the clot breaks down, the bacteria pour in, and this frankly also is why it often happens more in the lower jaw, that in effect the bacteria then infect the bone where the tooth has just been removed. This often means that after an extraction that goes well, there's very little discomfort or pain. In case of a dry socket, often it actually appears to get increasingly more painful, especially say 48 hours after the extraction. After the tooth has been removed, the healing normally occurs where the hole where the tooth's been extracted fills with blood. This blood quickly congeals and forms a hard layer over the surface. This can occur literally within a few hours of the extraction being taken out. Now, unfortunately, if this breaks down, then bacteria pour into the hole and often infect the bone underneath or where the tooth used to be, the roots used to be. How do we know that this is happening? That normally extraction that goes well and the healing takes place by the blood clotting normally, you would get very little pain, certainly after about 12 hours. In case of a dry socket, you actually find the pain gets worse as time goes on, and often can hit a crescendo within about 48 hours. Now, at this stage, the remedy would be to visit the dentist and say, look, could you have a look at where you've taken the tooth out, because it appears to be exceedingly painful. It actually looks a mess as well. Often it looks slightly yellowy, pussy, and you can actually still see quite a distinct hole. The dentist often may have to irrigate out all the debris that's collected in the hole, and often you might need some antibiotics to actually stop the jawbone getting infected around there. The other unfortunate thing about a dry socket is that it will take a lot longer for the bone to reform following the extraction. This can happen, and it really isn't anybody's fault. This is a little bit of advice on dry socket and how you can mitigate the problem.